Here, the employment outlook does not appear to be improving.
Labor conditions for recent college grads have deteriorated noticeably in just the past few months.
AI is shaping our lives, and this video we're going to be talking about should you hire an AI subscription. As we look at the job market and everything that is going on, I'm going to be focusing on my career, which is going to be the software developer. Entry level, you guys have a lot that is going to be a struggle getting into this market, but there are some really amazing tools and capabilities that are coming out, and I'm going to give a breakdown of all the different AIs and the overarching approach to kind of look at this to take advantage of the opportunities and to not be left behind in what is going to be a real struggle for a lot of people out there. So with that, let's jump into this. Let's start with an overview. So why is it so difficult for newcomers to enter in an industry like software development? And why are college graduates not landing jobs? Well, the real reason is let's kind of break this down. Intern or a junior dev is making about $50,000 to $80,000 in the software industry. So that is a lot of capital, and it's really, really expensive to get someone onboarded, and the process kind of flows like this, okay? You have the initial investment of onboarding somebody, and it's going to take about 1 to 3 months, and you could get about a 0 to 25% increase if it was just you and another developer in productivity that you would see in that time. Now, if you ramp it up and if they stay with you and all the other things work out, then in 4 to 6 months, you're looking at about a 25 to 50% increase in productivity for what your company is able to do if you're running a small company with just 2 people. Now, let's say that everything goes smoothly. Then you're talking about a year of having this person working with you in your company. Then you're looking at about a 50% to 75% increase in productivity for the company overarching. So with that, there is a lot of liability associated in this whole process. The amount of capital needed to get to that point, the fact that they might leave at any point, that they might not be a good fit, this could drag out the cost substantially. So you could be looking over $150,000 or more, and with the way that everything is going, the real thing to kind of talk about is going to be how does this compare in relation to just paying a ton of money in AIs. And instead of hiring another employee to work directly with you, what if you just increase your own productivity? Now, the gains of this is hard to really map entirely. It's solely dependent on the individual, but if you are a productive business owner or a productive programmer, and if you can increase your productivity by 30-40% and the cost is like $3,000 a year, overarching in terms of your career, it makes sense. So there are a range of AIs on the market at the moment. There are the big ones, which we'll kind of cover on the back end, which is going to be Grok, Copilot, Claude, ChatGPT, and Gemini. These are really the big names that are putting out the most in terms of features, but they're also the most expensive in cost. We can look at the most expensive one, which is going to be Gemini, and we'll kind of work our way back. But Gemini overall is a powerful offering. If you kind of look at the pricing structure, there you're having 3 months of, I guess, a discount where it's going to be $125, and then it's going to shoot up to $250 after that for the subscription. But for a business owner, and this is outside of just software development, this is a very enticing offering. The reason why this is such an enticing offering is explained in my last video that I just made, which you should definitely watch. But the key features that I covered were, okay, as a business owner that needs to create documents that's deep in the Google ecosystem, there is a lot included in the Pro version to make it worth to at least do the $20 a month for the Pro subscription. Now, the $125 or $250, that's a different ball game, and I really dive into that really deep in my other videos, so I won't go hand in hand on that. But I will say that for video creators and for some heavy AI users, this could be worth it. For me, though, as a software developer, and my overall take on this, I believe that this is the most well-rounded AI offering that is available. I think that Google AI should be watched, and you should keep up to date with what this has, because out the bat, It's really powerful. It integrates really well in Google's architecture and in their Google Docs and other stuff, and that's really, and they're doing some interesting stuff. I don't think everything's fleshed out. It's still very new on some of the things that they're trying, but I am very interested and encouraged by this. Now, moving over to ChatGPT. ChatGPT is the most used AI, I believe. I think it was the first one on the market, the real one to enter. And the offering is decent, but compared to the other options available, is not the best at anything, in my opinion. I feel like it's good at all traits, but it's not focused enough on one specific thing to be the best at that. Really, its name to fame is that it was the first real AI on the market, and it's capitalized on that to get a lot of people into their ecosystem as far as being a reliable AI to use. So for some people, this could be the best offering for them, especially at the $20 subscription. But other than that, if you are a focused individual and, for example, programming, I would steer you more towards Claude. I was disappointed in the Claude 3.7 release. I started moving over to Gemini Pro, and I was getting better results consistently off of Gemini Pro. But in the newest Claude 4.0 Opus and Claude 4.0 Sonnet, I have to say I am blown away. This is absolutely phenomenal. It is the strongest software as far as like building out applications and doing it right on the first try, or like integrating off of it. Like it's very, very smart. It blows Gemini out of the park, in my opinion. And for my own use case and development, I'm using this. I can't help it. And I've paid for the $100 a month, and I feel like that's a pretty good balance for Claude. The $20 a month, if you're a real software developer, you're going to be asking a lot of questions. You're going to blow through that $20 a month fast, and you're going to like hit limits, and you're not going to be able to get anything done. I was able to ask like 4 questions on the $20 a month, and I can't get anything done with that. But on the $100 a month, I'm still hitting limits, surprisingly, yes. But it's not as often, and it's like, okay, I'll hit a limit, and then it'll be like, all right, in the next 2 hours, you can like, ask again, or you can like, your limit resets. And for me, it's like, oh, it's my lunch break anyway, so I'm like, all right, I'll step away and I'll just do something else for a moment. So I can get away with the $100 a month subscription, and it's not necessary to have the $200 a month, but it's just something to keep account of. I would highly recommend, if you are a software developer, try it out. Just do it. At $100, just throw it out. It's worth it for your career to just see how this transforms your workflow, because it has changed mine. So this is my favorite AI at the moment, just because it's so integrated in my profession. Okay. Moving on, Copilot is an autocomplete. That's all I use it for. I can't say I really love it in any regard, but it does show up in my IDE, and it helps me just create, things easily. For like, I'm creating a list. It can kind of see that, and it will just automatically fill out the rest of the list, and it saves me a little bit of time. Okay, so the offering on this is like $10 a month for the Pro, or the Pro Plus, it's $40 a month, and then just kind of keep that in account. Now, all of this, this whole interactive whiteboard that I have here, you can dive into the specific pros and cons of everything, as I've done a really good job of listing everything out. You'll just have to go to my website, and you can log in, and it uses Google authentication or GitHub or Discord authentication. So you can log in with any of those, and you could just kind of jump into this little notebook, and you can fine tune and look at all this stuff. But yeah, just something worth mentioning, as there is a lot to cover, and I'm not going to be able to cover everything in depth in this video, but overarching overview, that's what this video is. Now let's kind of move over to Grok. Grok is an interesting one, and I don't see it in my workflow at the moment, but I am keeping my eyes on it a little bit. I think that this would probably be classified as the most up-to-date AI in regards to world news, and I think that that's because it's built into XAI, which is previously Twitter. So basically anything that is going on within Twitter, it's kind of getting fed into this at the moment, and you can see like world events, other things. Like, this is probably the most up-to-date in regards to an AI. I'm interested to see where Elon Musk and all this goes, but for the moment, I don't pay for a subscription. But if you're big into Twitter and if you find use case out of it, then yeah, try it out. It's not that expensive in regards to the other offerings that we have here. You're looking at about $30 a month, and I think that you get X Plus or whatever, where you're like a verified, X user. Anyway, moving on, Perplexity. Perplexity is an interesting one, and the offering in Perplexity is going to be its deep research. I think that this has done a very well-designed job in being able to provide an elegant, clean-looking, intense, deep research tool. That's primarily where I would focus its strengths on. Outside of that, I think it's best partnered with another AI, and that's currently how I use it. I think if you are heavily in the stock market, or if you're needing news and deep research on specific events, this could be very useful. Like if you're in college, $20 a month, this could be a really useful subscription to kind of help you build out your presentation for a class or whatever it might be. So moving on to what is an interesting offering, and it's by another YouTuber, T3 Chat. So T3 Chat is a application and offering at $8 a month. So this is our best well-rounded offering that I could find, and you get about 1,500 messages that you can send, a month. And what this has is it has all the APIs of all the major AIs. So if you're just trying to explore this space and you don't want to throw a lot of money at it, this is the most cost-effective route to go about it, because you can ask questions to Gemini Pro, you can ask questions to GPT, you can ask questions to Claude, you can ask questions to Grok. It even has Olama and DeepSeek in here. So it's really cool because with this, you get a broad brush of all the different AIs in one package. But with this, you have to keep in mind that the capabilities of this AI are going to be limited to just text output. You're not going to be able to get anything in regards to the video aspect and generating videos or generating pictures or other things. It's just focused on chat. So with that, I think I would label this as the most cost-efficient value per dollar AI offering. So overarching, let's kind of go over to my overall AI stack would consist of the highest tier of Gemini. I think that the video aspect of just generating videos might be worth it for my use case because I make YouTube videos. The Copilot saves me a little bit of time. I just haven't gotten rid of the subscription. I think that this would probably be one of my least used AIs. Claude, I use it every day. Anytime that I develop and I program, I'm using this now. I was using Gemini for programming, but now I'm just using Claude, and I can't go back. It's really freaking good. Perplexity is a new one that I'm exploring right now, but it's for the deep research aspects. I think that it does a really good job on specific things, and you can give it tasks, and it can run it for 10 minutes or 15 minutes, and it can kind of do deep dives and kind of build out really elegant overviews and deep research on topics. So T3 Chat, it's $8 compared to how much money I'm throwing in everything else. I love to support small developers, and even though he's not a small developer, but I think it's a good offering for what you get for the bang for the buck. So with that, should you hire an AI subscription? Going back to that topic, we can look at this overarching of, okay, we're doing $3,000 a year for Gemini. We have $1,200 a year for Claude. We have $120 a year for Copilot. We have $200 a year for Perplexity and about $100 for T3 Chat. Overarching, we're looking about maybe $5,000 in AI bills to increase my productivity by 30%, which is huge. 30 to 40% is what I feel like I'm getting out of all these tools, okay? Alternatively, $50,000 to $80,000 a year, man, for a junior developer. This is why it's difficult for a junior developer to enter in the space, because if I was a corporation or anybody with a brain and I have people working underneath me or whatever, instead of hiring other developers and other people, I would just find the most efficient and useful developers I have already on my roster, and I would just buy them the subscription and then allow them to be 30 to 40% more productive, and then use that as a way to justify increasing the overarching company. And with that, it's going to be very difficult for you to get a job, and it's going to get growingly more difficult. So the best way to protect yourself and to move into a space where you are protected is you could go into the trades. Okay, if you are really passionate and you are really determined, it is still possible to enter in the software industry or any of these other industries, but you need to be focused. You need to be putting time consistently into perfecting your skill sets. You need to build out your own resume. Your college degree isn't worth as much as it used to be, and for where it stands, you need to become proficient in using these tools to create and innovate, and you need to understand how to check them as they are going to misfire. You're going to get false returns on the questions that you're asking and what you're trying to build, and you're going to need to be able to have enough project knowledge about the niche that you are in. And that's another thing to focus on, is be focused within a niche in an industry, not an overarching skill set. You don't want to be the ChatGPT, okay? You want to be like a Claude. You want to be like a focused Perplexity, or like focus your skill sets in one specific area that has opportunity, that has growth, and then find other forums, communities, or like things that you're using and become active in them, okay? There are a lot of different programming languages, there are a lot of forums, and there's a lot of packages and discords within those, but just try to find your niche and start talking with others that are in that niche. And with that, you will find opportunity, because you'll see what people are building. You will learn from them. You will find connections that could provide opportunity for a career or a job, and just start openly contributing to your GitHub and to these communities. And in return, you will be paid in stride. So with that, go open source. That is a big strength for software developers, and just showing their work and to contribute useful tools to communities and to software. So with that, I hope that you find this useful and interesting. As we go deeper into these topics, I'm excited to kind of address these AIs and explore how it relates into software and give some tips and tricks along this path. I have so many great resources and tools on my own applications, on my blog, and on my YouTube channel. So check out some of my other work. If you find any of this useful, like, subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one.